The date is April 3rd, 2004. It's a chilly night in the Midwest. Storms have just swept through the area. Our story begins in Gardner, Kansas. A 23-year-old man named Alonzo Brooks and his 3 friends are leaving for a party in a neighboring town. Alonzo was the life of the party. He was always happy and knew how to dance the night away with some friends. Alonzo and his friends loved to party. If there was a party in town, you would always see them there. The night of April 3rd was no different for the boys. However, what was about to come would haunt the entire state of Kansas forever. When the group of friends that had taken 2 cars to the party that night arrived at the house, something suspicious hit them. The house was eerie. The people looked rough. However, despite their concerns, a group of young men went into the house anyway. As the group walked into the house, all of them except Alonzo took notice. Alonzo was the only person of color at the party. As soon as he walked in, the partygoers stared at him as though he was not welcome. Despite the stares and looks, Alonzo insisted that he and his group of friends dance and have a great night. And so, without hesitation, the group got right back to dancing and enjoying themselves. As the party went on and more drinks were tossed away, tensions increased between the local men and Alonzo. At points, racial slurs, including the N-word, were said to Alonzo. As a result of the racist harassment, Alonzo's crew decided to leave the party. However, Alonzo insisted on staying and having a good time despite the circumstances. Only Alonzo and one other friend decided to stay at the party that night, but due to a misunderstanding, the friend that Alonzo was left with decided to leave shortly after. Alonzo had no ride home. This later ended up being fatal. At about 8 a.m. the next morning, Alonzo's mother knew that something was wrong. After parties, her son would always come home no matter what. So, Alonzo's mom called all of the people that had been with her son the night before at the party. They all told her they had not seen her son since the party. Immediately, Alonzo's mother knew that something more sinister had transpired. She contacted the entire family, including Alonzo's siblings. She needed to find her son. The family contacted the police department in the area at about 12 p.m. on April 4th. Due to the fact that college kids seemed to go missing a lot in the area and then turn out hours later, there was not much urgency. However, as time started to go by, this was not looking like just some missing college kid that crashed at a friend's place. It was looking like a missing person. Within a week of the party, detectives and local police scoured the area near where the party was held. However, they turned up nothing. As more time went by and the situation was looking worse and worse by the day, the FBI got involved in the suspicious case. However, after completing their long and extensive search, they found nothing. After about 1 month of not locating Alonzo, the FBI allowed the family to do some searching of their own. Lo and behold, after about 3 hours of searching, the family found Alonzo's decomposed body in a creek near where the party took place that chilling night. When the family came back with the body, the FBI was completely and utterly stunned. Just 1 day before, the FBI had searched the entirety of the same creek. The agents at the scene came to the conclusion that the killers somehow placed the body in the shallow creek from the time that the FBI packed up to the time that the family searched the area. During the autopsy, the medical examiner could not come up with a definitive cause for Alonzo's death. The lengthy investigation into the very suspicious death could not come up with anything. No suspects, no theories, no arrests. After the murder, many crime reporters in the area came up with theories of their own. The theory that is most popular is that Alonzo was flirting with a white girl at the party. Upon seeing the flirting, a drunk male killed Alonzo and hid his body until placing it in the creek after it decomposed. To this day, no one has been arrested for the gruesome murder of Alonzo Brooks. However, the FBI has reopened the investigation into his murder, and they are offering a $100,000 reward for any information about the case. The family of the up-and-coming football star is still shocked and in grief to this day. In the end, not having a ride home and having dark skin were contributing factors to Alonzo's death. In July 2010, a New England farmer named Scott Guy was brutally shot and killed on the outskirts of his family farm. The murder took place in Fielding, Manawatu, Wangawu, New Zealand. 6 months after Guy's murder, his very own brother-in-law and best man at his wedding was charged with the brutal crime. However, he was acquitted on all counts a short time later. Within a week of the murder of the 33-year-old farmer, it became national news when the entire nation of New Zealand began engrossed in the mystery and the trial. Scott Guy was born and raised on his family farm in Fielding. His father owned a farm that housed many different types of crop and livestock. Ever since Guy was a little boy, he had dreams of running and owning the farm just as his father had. Farming was a lifestyle, and he would not give that up for anything. When Guy and his sister's then boyfriend and future husband, Ewan McDonald, were assigned to run the farm's dairy program, Guy was delighted. Over the next few years, the two teenage boys created a firm bond between them. They both loved the farm and liked working alongside one another. In their 20s, the two were both promoted to farm manager by Guy's parents. Although the two had a fantastic relationship, it was not without its fair share of conflict. In 2008, when Guy's father was creating his will, he gave his entire farm to Guy. Not one thing was left for his son-in-law. This greatly enraged McDonald, created an immense rift between the two property managers. Despite the conflict, the rift seemed to be through when the pair went to a dairy conference in Invercargill. Family members said that the two had a great time together that weekend. On the chilly morning of July 8, 2010, shots rang out. At approximately 4:43 a.m., Scott Guy was shot and killed when he stopped to open a locked gate at the end of his farm's driveway. Guy died immediately from his injuries. Guy's body was found lying in the driveway by a local truck driver, David Berry, at 7 a.m. Berry called the police at 7:08 a.m. and got Guy's landlord from a nearby house. Upon arrival at the scene, Guy's landlord frantically phoned Guy's father in an effort to inform him of the murder of his son. To simply add to the mystery as to who shot Scott Guy, 3 puppies were taken from the farm. 6 months after the stunning murder, Ewan McDonald was charged with the murder of his own brother-in-law. The Crown alleged that because McDonald wanted full control of the farm, he murdered Guy. They claimed that McDonald locked the gate so that Guy would have needed to exit his car in order to get inside. It is then, they say, that McDonald shot and killed Guy. The prosecution also claimed that McDonald used the farm shotgun and wore size 9 dive boots while committing the crime. Additionally, the Crown claims that McDonald stole the puppies in order to make it seem as though the murder was a robbery. After just 11 hours of deliberation, the jury reached a not guilty verdict. The murder of farmer Scott Guy remains unsolved to this day. However, it is believed that the case remains open. Scott Guy was an innocent victim who was shot and killed by an evil individual. We all hope that the murderer will be found and justice will be served for Scott Guy. Of all the cold cases, this could be the most bizarre and unsolvable. In late 1948, a couple found an immaculately dressed dead man on Australia's Somerton beach. Outside of these simple facts, any new evidence collected only seems to lead investigators in circles. Some strange features of the 40-ish-year-old man's body included small pupils, extremely muscular calves, and oddly wedge-shaped toes. His feet were described by an examiner as rather striking, suggesting, this is my own assumption, that he had been in the habit of wearing high-heeled shoes. The man's stomach contained a lot of blood, suggesting he was poisoned, but there wasn't the faintest amount of poison detected in the food or body. At the court inquest, the coroner thought the only answer could be one of two extremely rare untraceable poisons, of which the names he refused to say out loud. The belongings in the man's pockets proved to be inscrutable: a pack of gum, matches, 2 combs, and a pack of Army Club cigarettes, mixed with 7 more expensive cigarettes named Consitas. All the name tags on the clothes had been removed. Inside a secretive inner pocket in the waistline of his pants was a tightly rolled scrap of paper that read, "Tamam Shud, Persian for, it is ended." The Tamam Shud scrap, they finally determined, was from a rare New Zealand edition of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a book of poetry from the 12th century. By pure happenstance, 2 men who had been following the case in the papers remembered seeing a copy of the book in the back seat of a car they were in. They recovered it and delivered it to the police immediately. The last page that would have contained the man's scrap was torn out. When put under ultraviolet light, the book revealed a handwritten cipher. The code was sent to Naval Intelligence, who determined it to be unbreakable. Police found another dead man in Australia with a copy of the Rubaiyat after the war, but according to both the publisher and libraries around the world, there were only 5 editions printed, and this man held the 7th edition. That makes this copy of the book just as unexplainable. Perhaps they weren't books at all, but spy gear in disguise. At any rate, the identity, cause of death, and killer of the man remains a mystery. In 1943, 4 boys trespassing in the Hagley Woods area of Worcestershire, England, discovered something eerie inside a Wych Elm tree. Instead of the bird's nest they were looking for, they found a human skull. Nervous to be caught, they vowed not to ever speak of it, but the skull haunted one of the boys so much that he told his parents. When the police investigated, they found an almost whole female skeleton tucked down deep inside of the trunk of the tree. The bones of one hand were missing, but they were located a short distance from the rest of the body. There was also a shoe, small pieces of tattered clothing, and a gold ring with the woman, who would have been 30 to 35 years of age. Police estimated she'd been in the tree for close to 18 months. Further study revealed a piece of taffeta cloth in the mouth of the skull, suggesting suffocation as a cause of death. Every dentist in the country was contacted, in the hopes of garnering a positive ID from dental records. Even though the woman appeared to have recent dental work, no dentist had any record of her. Roughly 6 months after her discovery, graffiti started appearing. "Who put Bella down the Wych Elm?" and other similar sentiments begged the question, who's Bella, and who knows more than they're letting on? Who this woman was, or who might have killed her, is still a mystery, though there are at least a few theories, the most interesting of which had Bella as a Nazi spy named Clara Bella, who was scheduled to parachute into the area in 1941. Thank you guys for watching and listening to the very end. I hope you enjoyed these unsolved murder mysteries. I want the channel to start going in a more true crime direction, so I'll be featuring videos of this nature on the regular. Email your true scary stories to thesinfulsavant@gmail.com. Link to the email will be in the description box at the end of the video. Till we meet again, stay safe, stay sinful.